Si comes tienes que lavar tu plato, Firulais. Anda, enjuágalo bien. No me gruñas. A ver, con la esponja eso. Y enjuaga bien que luego deja todo jabonoso. Eso así, muy bien, aunque de malas.
Welcome to the motherfucking we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It would seem that recording artist and TV producer 50 Cent has decided to fan the flames of the beef between him and Clarissa Shields. Really, the beef between him and Papoose. Thus, he's got beef with her by proxy, saying, so when your tickets don't sell and your album doesn't sell, what are you gonna do? Promote car shows and sell chicken wings?
Oh, shit.
50 continued, I just saw your record sales. LOL. 2,000. What the fuck? There is a story out there that Clarissa Shields' landmark $8 million deal is contingent upon not just her ticket sales as a boxer, but her sales as a recording artist. So if the only way for her to get at that $8 million by the time the deal ends is to sell copies of her singles and copies of her album,
Good luck with that fucking shit.
I mean, think about it. Do you actually know anybody who could stomach 16 tracks of Clarissa Shields? People barely want to hear her talk, let alone rap over a beat. She released a snippet late yesterday of what's supposed to be a diss track aimed at Alicia Baumgartner. Somehow, I don't think Alicia Baumgartner is all that pressed about it, as she's about to appear on Season 5 of Special Forces on Fox.
I'm not expecting Alicia Baumgartner to hit the studio and come up with 16 verses aimed at Clarissa. It's all so very infantile, so childish, so dated.
What does Clarissa think she is, a late 90s rapper?
What is she trying to emulate? Tupac Shakur's infamous beef with Biggie Smalls?
I said it before that delving into that world, outside of the boxing space, the hip-hop space, she won't find people groveling at her feet the way the journos often do. This image, uploaded by 50 Cent to his social media, is proof of that with a caption that reads, nah man, that motherfucker's handsome. She looks like a bee.
What the fuck is that on her head?
I don't know a whole lot about cosmetology or women's hair care, but if I had to guess, it looks like a protective barrier for a wig that they're about to place on her head. Because you could see that Clarissa's got a hair cornrow under that thing, whatever it is, so I can only assume that's a protective layer for some hairpiece.
You know, women often laugh at men for wearing hairpieces, bald men, but what about bald women, like Clarissa?
What's supposed to be the reaction to that? Since she often has so much to say about so many other people, what are we supposed to say about this? I think it's that she's not as confident as she lets on, and whoever took this picture, they could not have done so with anything other than ill intentions in mind. And how did 50 Cent get his hands on it? Because it is embarrassing.
Well, I've got a few ideas.
The thing about Clarissa is, a lot of people don't like her. So in a vulnerable moment like this, there is no shortage of individuals who would take advantage.
She couldn't have known that there was somebody there with their camera out.
It doesn't look AI generated. You can usually tell, as there's always something off about those AI generated images. If I had to guess where 50 Cent got this, it would have been in the dressing room.
Backstage at some event, somewhere, someone snapped this image without Clarissa Shields knowing.
50 Cent is just saying what we're all thinking. Clarissa Shields is very, very far from attractive. She's manly.
Ew.
She talked that shit. She talked that shit all she fucking wants and put on a brave face. She's a manly looking broad.
Needs to shut the fuck up, you bald head bitch.
Because she's got a lot of things to say about a lot of people. But look at you.
Papoose is gay.
You can't convince me of otherwise. This guy's into men, or manly looking broads, as this is a step down, a step backwards from Remy Martin, who exhibits some masculine qualities in terms of her temperament, but not her aesthetic, whereas Clarissa...
You're telling me you get a gander at this broad in the morning and get it chubby?
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
And I feel like Clarissa brought this on herself because for so long within the boxing space, she operated like a bully.
Just being obnoxious to everybody.
It's almost like the media and the journos were afraid to say what we were all thinking, whereas outside of that boxing space, in the hip-hop space, which is a lot more freewheeling...
They don't stand on ceremony, they ain't got no hair on their tongue, and they're not going to kiss your ass, irrespective of your 2 gold medals and all your vacant titles in boxing.
Who cares?
She got used to that, you know? in boxing, people groveling at her feet, putting her on a pedestal. She thinks people are gonna do that outside of that space. She's got another thing coming. She fucked with the right one.
For so long, she did so many things to get attention within the boxing space, many of them negative, that now...
You wanted attention, you've got it.
You hear people say things like, all publicity is good publicity, but they haven't thought it through. I don't see how you could spin this into being a positive for Clarissa, a good thing, fast becoming the butt of every joke in not one, but two separate spaces, and becoming a social pariah.
Not when the intention is to endear yourself to the audience so that they buy tickets to be at your fight and watch you at home.
And they're definitely paying attention now, though. It's not because of anybody that she's fighting.
In men's welterweight news, Teofimo Lopez's DAZN deal explained by Eddie Hearn.
Teofimo Lopez's decision to sign directly with DAZN instead of a traditional promoter has created a different business model for one of boxing's biggest names. Eddie Hearn believes the arrangement gives Teofimo another option without relying on a standard promotional contract.
One less hand in the cookie jar, right?
Hearn said DAZN stepped in after Lopez declined to sign with the promoter handling his upcoming fight against Rolly Romero. He said the streaming platform can appoint a promoter to oversee each event whenever necessary. It looks a lot like it will be TGB Promotions handling the promotion for the upcoming Lopez versus Romero fight, so it's not necessarily that Teofimo doesn't need a promoter.
As long as one of the two combatants is bringing one to the table.
I think it's good. He's got a fight with Rolly Romero. Normally in that situation, not having a promoter, he would align himself with the promoter of the show, which is PBC. He didn't want to do that. DAZN stepped in and said, "We'll take the options on you then." I believe DAZN also can nominate a promoter for him, which is obviously important because he doesn't have a promotional company or team to run the show, said Hearn to Ring Magazine. A lot of fighters have this great idea of having a promotional company, but never really actually want to put the money up for a show, or when the numbers don't quite work, they don't want to be involved in any losses.
That's because these fighters that claim to be promoters don't have a broadcast partner. The money to do these shows, it comes from the broadcast partner, entrusted to the promotion to budget it wisely and do shows throughout the calendar year, where many of these fighters like Devin Haney and DHP.
Man Down Promotions or Lions Only? It's a dog without teeth. What's a promoter without a budget, without a broadcaster?
In this instance, it was smart business from DAZN, as they can give Teofimo the money and the opportunity to fight Rolly, then make sure he's locked in on the network. They also have that provision to assign a promoter to the actual show, which is important to maintain the quality.
It sounds like Teofimo Lopez's arrangement with DAZN is similar to Jaron Ennis's arrangement with Showtime. When he was over there, Jaron Ennis was never actually signed to Al Heyman's PBC. He was working with Showtime.
Like Teofimo's working with DAZN.
Hearn described the agreement as unusual for a leading fighter. He said DAZN can finance Teofimo's bouts without requiring a traditional promotional deal. The platform also has the ability to appoint an experienced promoter for individual events. Hearn believes that approach keeps the events professionally managed while giving Lopez greater independence.
Let's make a long story short and put it in layman's terms. It looks a lot like whoever Teofimo's fighting and whoever promotes them, they'll be in charge of promotion. So if he's fighting Rolly, then it's TGB in charge of the promotion. If he's fighting Ryan, then it's Golden Boy.
What about if he's fighting another free agent like himself? What if he's fighting Devin Haney, for example? Are we expecting DHP to promote the show?
No, I think in a situation like that, they would call upon Matchroom to handle promotion for a show where you got two free agents, two guys who don't have a promoter.
Now, why did DAZN feel so inclined to work with Teofimo directly? Well, that's one less big name migrating over to Zuffa.
One less fighter that they lose.
They're still trying to convince people to subscribe to DAZN, and not just that, but their ultimate tier. For the incentive, they're going to need fighters, they're going to need big fights. Came across a very interesting perspective on the whole thing in the comments section of my previous video from the inventor, a friend of the channel who said, I did a quick online check of DAZN's subscribers. DAZN don't officially break down its subscribers into categories, either for country or sport. However, there is apparently enough information to suggest that out of the 20 million paid global subs, 90% live mainly in Europe and the UK, and buy it for their exclusive Series A and La Liga rights.
That's soccer.
According to Kentar's Entertainment On Demand data, DAZN achieved its largest single-month growth in the UK after securing the rights to the FIFA World Cup. This triggered a 50% surge in UK subs. The US market remains a challenging space and is only bought for its boxing and MMA content. I think that says it all. Boxing, especially in the US, has to pay for itself. And as I suspect, their ultimate tier is what they need to keep boxing going on the channel. The regular subscription with the added expensive pay-per-views is the minimum they're willing to do for the fans. Basically, if push comes to shove, DAZN doesn't need boxing or the American market, if those figures are to be believed.
I literally had a conversation about this with Drew, a regular on the panel during a previous live stream.
The American market being the way that it is for boxing, it can't really be profitable, and so a day might come where DAZN's focus as a platform is on other sports. Oftentimes when we talk about it as it pertains to boxing, because this is a boxing channel, we're boxing fans, but there's a lot of other content on there, and in different markets,
Different things appeal to different people.
it's really not encouraging what you're seeing, because it reminds me of what Showtime did right before they gave the PBC the axe. They started doing pay-per-view after pay-per-view, year after year, oversaturating the market.
To the point you started wondering why. Why are they doing so many when they can't be turning over a profit from these fights?
Now we find ourselves asking a similar question about the DAZN platform and all the pay-per-views they're doing there. If the bulk of DAZN subs hail from different regions in Europe, and they're really there for soccer, that essentially means they don't care about fights like Garcia versus Barrios, or Tio versus Romero.
So you can't be doing any kind of real business putting on fights like that. And I talked about the proliferation of promotional outfits all on one platform, how on one end it seems like a good thing, but there's a flip side to that coin.
You've got all your eggs in one basket, but what if something happens to the basket?
Oh shit.
Oh shit is right. There are a growing number of major promotional outfits relying on DAZN to give them a home, but if it stops making sense for DAZN,
Shit.
so they've decided to start working with fighters directly, a fighter like Teofimo. And so we'll see how they make out.
Shoot, and that's it.
And then back home.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
Good.
You're
Great,
good?
Thank you.
You're happy?
Yeah, very happy.
Healthy?
Healthy.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, fine.
Let's do it. We were just talking about it before you walked in. There was an announcement in May in Egypt that you were going to fight Christian Mbilli September 12th. And then we kind of found out no fight September
Yeah.
12th. What happened?
Some problems in my family, so I need to fix.
I'm sorry.
Right? But everything good. Nothing.
Okay, everyone's okay.
But I always very disciplined, so very organized with my training camps, and I wasn't ready to be in the training camp, so that's why I postponed the fight, because I need to attend first
Okay.
family, and then but all good now, ready to train, and we want to be October 31.
Oh, that's the goal. Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween.
Okay. That's the new date.
That's a new day.
And it's still in Mbilli.
It's the Mbilli.
Okay, and so this was your call. You made the decision, and they respected it. You said, "Hey guys, can we
Yes.
push this?" And no
Yes,
problem.
because I wasn't ready to get in the training camp, because when it's family, you need to attend the family,
Sure.
and that's why. But now all good and ready to train.
We know you love, Mexican Independence Day weekend, Cinco de
Yeah.
Mayo weekend.
Yeah.
To not fight on that weekend, does it bother you, or you're okay with it?
I think I like those days, obviously, because it's very important for me. But for me, every day is a Mexican day. I feel proud about represent Mexico. I feel proud about represent my country, my people, and any day is good.
Okay.
Any day is good, and especially for this kind of fights, good fights, and I'm ready to come back.
And will this fight be in Riyadh?
And we don't decide yet.
Okay.
But it's gonna be in Riyadh. We're gonna decide what venue or place.
And so to anyone with a rooting interest for a Canelo Alvarez win, they may be breathing a sigh of relief that the fight didn't get postponed as a result of any injury Canelo sustained. He's happy, he's healthy, he's ready to fight. But there is a flip side to that coin. Doing the fight at the very end of October, on Halloween, essentially puts it out a year and 2 months from his last fight with Terence Crawford in September of the previous year. You don't come back till Halloween of the next one, well, that's practically November 1st. And he's about to fight a very rough and rugged customer, a physical fighter to where it don't take him long to turn up. I personally don't like the date switch. I normally take my kids out trick-or-treating on Halloween. It's a tradition, and I don't like a Canelo Alvarez fight clashing with that. So I guess I'll have to take him out a little bit earlier than usual. Now, as it pertains to the boxing, it would be Canelo Alvarez, more than Christian Mbilli, relying on speed, reflexes, and timing to win the fight. Canelo is a talented counter-puncher. He always has been. Where Christian is a lot more straightforward. He's a pressure fighter, and to beat a pressure fighter, you have to land hard, and you have to land in between their punches. You have to be able to counter them. Will Canelo Alvarez be able to do that at 36 years old, more than a year removed from his last ring appearance? The question is the same as it always was, except now there's more time in between Canelo's last fight and his next one. With those things in mind, do you like his chances? What would have all that time off done to Canelo Alvarez's speed and reflexes, his timing? Could we be looking at Canelo Alvarez's last stand? Because if he loses to Christian Mbilli after already losing to Terence Crawford, I think that would spell the end. It's hard to imagine that Canelo would keep boxing after that. He's already made more than enough money to retire on, that he doesn't actually need to keep fighting, he just seems to want to. But if he's losing consecutive bouts... The flip side to the flip side. What? For as long as Canelo Alvarez has been out, so has Christian Mbilli, because Christian last boxed on Canelo's undercard. So who's to say that all the time off won't also affect Christian? I guess in theory it could, but pressure guys are not reliant on timing. He's a blunt instrument, Christian. All pressure fighters are. That being said, I don't think all the time off would affect a pressure fighter as much as it would a boxer puncher, a counter puncher. Timing has a lot to do with what makes boxer punchers effective. And if your timing is off... Oh shit is right. Fighting a big, young, unbeaten guy like Christian Mbilli, who's a handful, is a physical fighter, which I think is the worst kind of fighter to encounter after a long layoff. A guy who's gonna get off to an early start, maybe he doesn't let you settle in and grow into the fight. I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan. I have been for years now, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that he's a shoo-in to win. He's not, and this is not a lock. He could lose this thing, and this could be the end.